Paltrocast.
Adam, I'm going to say good evening. I have the time zone correct. You're an East Coaster?
I am. I'm in New York City.
Yes. Thank you for taking the time. Drink and Be Merry is the latest, although you're a podcaster and producing other stuff. But when was Drink and Be Merry actually finished?
Feels like 5 minutes ago. We shot the film in April and end of April and early May of 2024, and its final cut, I believe, was done in January, and then we toured it around festivals, and then we unlocked the edit after sort of getting to feel how the film played in the room, and it was done sometime after that.
So the version that people are getting on Blu-ray and DVD, is it longer than the festival version?
No, actually, this final version of the film it'll be available on VOD, Blu-ray, and DVD on December 2nd from X4 Pictures, is actually, I think it's like 2.5 minutes shorter than what played at festivals, but that is mostly from trimming down like the credits, actually.
Not from music clearances?
No.
Well, in this case, how long was the journey from creating the film to it, being in this state right now? In other words, was it an idea that was floating around before other projects that you'd finished?
I got the script from, I had met Leo Winters, the writer, at another film festival. I was touring a short film called Misprint that also starred Jeff White, who stars in this film, and was also produced by Brendan Hubbard, who produced this film. And Leo was showing a short film called Hold the Dash, and we both liked each other's movies, and we started hanging out at a bar after this screening, and had a great time chatting about movies. And he said that he had a script that he felt was kind of ideal for the kind of films that I had been making, and he sent me the script for Drink and Be Merry. And then we didn't go right into production immediately. I went and actually DP'd another feature, which Jeff directed incredibly. And then while we were in production on that, we went on hiatus, and I read the script again, and I just had this sort of feeling like, I think we could do this. Like, I think now would be the right time to try and get this thing moving. And so from that moment on, I think it ended up being like 6 weeks until we entered production, actually, because we just sort of suddenly found ourselves with a window where all of the things were going to line up correctly. And when you have a window, you have a window.
The reason I was curious about that timeline was I was looking through, okay, I know who Adam is. And then I was going through that Misprint showed at the Chain NYC Film Festival. So it's going, that's 2023. This film, 2025, it looked like they were back-to-back kind of projects, but then sometimes you find out, well, no, this one goes back 8 years. I put a pin in it. So in this case, it sounds like you've been going pretty nonstop the past few years.
It's been pretty nonstop, yeah. Yes, I tend to be a pretty nonstop person generally. I love being on set. I love making movies, and so I try to always be working on something. But it was sort of it was like dominoes, really, between doing Misprint, doing Jeff's film Caravan, and then going right on to Drink and Be Merry,
and Eye of the Duck, and Criminal Content.
Yes, yeah. So alongside all of that was making fiction podcasts with Criminal Content, and have been doing Eye of the Duck for the past 5 years. Yeah.
So at this point in time, you're always creating, but it's not clear whether that's going to turn into a podcast, somebody else's production, a film, etc. Is it an accident that you have that kind of a diversified existence?
I would say it's more that I'm just sort of like addicted to doing this stuff, and I just want to always be doing it. For me, it always comes down to the story. Like I'll just sort of follow the the best story and see where it can take me. Sometimes that is an audio medium. Sometimes that's in film. Lately, more film than audio. And then Eye of the Duck is not fiction, but it is very much a creative project, and one that I love getting to be a part of. I co-host that with Dominic Nero, who also edited Drink and Be Merry with me. And every week we are exploring the history of a film and then trying to find its eye of the duck scene, and it's always a great exercise and brings me a lot of joy.
Well, what I find very unique about that is it's a very small percentage, generalizing here, really generalizing, but it's a small percentage of directors who are still students of film after they've had stuff made. In other words, a lot of directors go, this is my day job, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and I'm going to do the exact opposite in my downtime. But it sounds like it's all film and all creative all the time for you.
Yeah, it is. I like what you said as far as being a student, where I do see Eye of the Duck as a way of continuing to enrich my understanding of the medium. I do feel like, talking about how those films are made, talking about how films are made and trying to figure out, what that scene is week after week, it has absolutely made me a stronger filmmaker and sort of forced me to really think about everything I do in a very different way. For example, when making this film, I'm not going to tell you what my Eye of the Duck scene is, but I will say that while making it, I wanted to try and find a way to craft each scene so that it could be read as an Eye of the Duck scene.
Wow. Making the jump from shorts to feature length with Drink and Be Merry, was it a huge realization and problematic kind of thing?
No, the actual making of the film was really quite, a joyous experience. It was, of course, very hard, as every film production is, and we had to do quite a lot in a very short period of time with very limited resources, which is often the case in micro budget filmmaking, and it was very difficult in that way. But I kept saying to myself, I've done so many short films in the early 2010s, back when web series were the kind of trend. I had done a number of those, and the productions on those are longer than a feature film. And so I just sort of kept reminding myself, like, the shoot we're going to do here, it's just going to be like doing 2 short films back to back or 3 short films back to back. It's not going to be, the undertaking in that regard is not going to be more difficult. The thing that became difficult for me, or became the most challenging for me, was sort of everything that came next. Like, I feel at this point in my career, I very much know how to make a movie, or at least make the kind of movie I'm going to make. What I didn't know how to do was all the stuff of getting a film, out into the world and everything that goes along with that. Especially with a feature, it is very different from a short film. I'm used to, you put it on Vimeo, a couple people watch it, you call it a day. Everything that you do with a feature was very, very new to me, and has certainly been a learning curve.
But at least you had the self-imposed media training from doing a podcast. In other words, you learned how to broadcast, you lost your ums and your ahs, and learned how to tell stories. So
I'm trying. It's every day. It's every day I'm trying.
So to us, it's a new film. To you, it's something that you worked on for a long time, and you've presumably seen hundreds of times between this, the editing room and the festival circuit and all that. Are we allowed to know what's coming next, or we just have to follow you on Instagram and that's how we know?
Well, this film is coming out on video on demand and Blu-ray and DVD on December 2nd. Yes, I have seen it hundreds of times. I hope that you will all watch it at least one time. As far as what's next for me, maybe taking a little Christmas vacation and, continuing to work on Eye of the Duck. And I do have other films that I'm hoping to get made, a number of features that I'm very passionate about. And we'll sort of see where the chips fall.
Is that under the criminal content banner?
No, criminal content, is primarily doing fiction podcasts, and that's run by my good friend Sean Christensen, who actually has a little cameo role in this movie. You'll see him show up in there, and I and I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, I was just I was forcing you the bad drill of saying, what's next? Please break all the embargoes and make sure it's an exclusive for clickbait and SEO purposes. That's what I was doing to you, Adam.
Gotcha. Unfortunately, I have like nothing juicy to share with you.
No, I think what I'm hearing is that you're pacing yourself, but there's a lot going on. There's some irons in the fire, and you don't want to spoil the things before they happen.
Sure. Well, look, believe me, if I had something proper to announce, I would love to. But I'm someone, as you pointed out, who's always doing things, always trying to be doing more things. I have a number of projects I would love to get moving, and I hope that when people see this, it opens some opportunities for me there.
Well, my last question has to do with the first thing I asked you about with time zone and where you are. And this film is New York centric. Mm-hmm. And lately, more and more films that are set in New York are actually filmed in Atlanta, or they have a studio in North Carolina that somehow makes it look like it, or Albuquerque or whatever. What is it that keeps you New York based at the moment?
Well, I must reveal my deep dark secret, which is that the bar itself is actually in New Jersey. We did do some production. We did do production in New York as well, but the bar is in fact in New Jersey,
near your alma mater of Rutgers.
Yes, it's in New Brunswick, New Jersey. It was where I hung out for most of my college years. Yeah, but what keeps me, local generally. I love New York. I love New York movies. I think every movie should be a New York movie, and I just want to keep working here forever. I unfortunately have like sort of the same like stock answers that a lot of people have who live here and who make movies here, but like New York is this very infinite well, and there are so many people here, and there are so many stories happening here. And it's just a wonderful place to live and work. And I love every opportunity to be able to put it on camera.
Well said. Well, I am looking forward to those future works, even if they don't get filmed in New York. Looking forward to the future podcasts. And thank you for your time, Adam.
Thank you so much.
Paltrow.